Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up tonight, there are deals to be had on buying a home in Baltimore. Details ahead. First tonight, more big savings, this time on college-level courses. Joining us now is Burke Smith, the CEO of Straighterline. Burke, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So you run one of the hot new ed tech companies, they're calling it. You offer college courses. You're not a college. How does this work?
So we offer online courses extremely affordably. We help college students make college more affordable and start college with less risk. We help institutions attract new students and also students that are very likely to persist to a degree. And we do this because we offer the general education courses, so Econ 101, Accounting 101, College Algebra, English Comp, etc., extremely affordably. We offer these courses that start with a free trial, and then $99 per month plus a per course fee of about $49. Now, we're not a college, but we have agreements with colleges so we can guarantee credit transfer from us to them.
And you just hit a big milestone there.
We did.
With 100 colleges that'll take these credits.
We did. We just signed up our 100th partner college. It's free to a college to award credit for our courses, to have these agreements. In addition to the 100 colleges where we can guarantee credit transfer, there are about 800 or 900 colleges that we know have accepted our credits in the past. Our students have told us so. We can't guarantee it with those others. But we are seeing the number of colleges who accept our credits grow, and actually grow fairly rapidly.
So this has the potential to be a major disruptive force, or at least a part of a disruptive wave in higher education. How do you see it?
I think so. I started this company in 2008, became our own company in 2010. And the idea was that online courses should be much cheaper than face-to-face courses. The cost of delivery is not the same. But 93% of colleges charge the same or more for online courses than for face-to-face. And so our beginning was, well, we should charge just much closer to the cost of delivery rather than trying to use the prices for these online courses to subsidize the face-to-face offerings. So that has worked over time. Students take our courses, need a place to go. The place to go becomes the colleges with whom we have agreements. And more than that, once the students do get there, they're more likely to persist to a degree because they've successfully completed online courses already. It simply takes time. As you might imagine, colleges aren't necessarily interested in creating low-price pathways into themselves. However, students are opting for lower-priced options. College affordability is a big issue, and as they do, more and more colleges accept it.
I'm amazed you've gotten 100 colleges to accept this.
Well, so first, it's not unprecedented. Colleges take credit from lots of different sources. So whether those are AP exams or CLEP exams, those are sort of AP for adult students,
right,
or community college credit transfers, or what's increasingly called prior learning assessments. There's lots of ways that colleges take credits from different sources. We were the first to price them radically differently, and also I think to be very clear about what the pathway is, these general education courses. And those are the colleges with whom we are working. Typically those who are serving adult or non-traditional students, although non-traditional is kind of a misnomer because that category of student is now more than half of the college-going population. So most students in college are not maybe what you and I did when we were younger, which is that 18-year-old going off to college. Students now are typically older, they're adults, they're working, they've got families, online, so a lot of different characteristics.
So tell me a success story. You don't have to name names, but somebody who has completed this and gone on to a degree somewhere.
Well, I mean, there's thousands. It's hard to pick one, and actually, they're all on our website. So we do, obviously do success stories and list them. And the one that comes to mind, we just published one today about a student who, without a college degree, rose to be a vice president in his company, had 5 kids, and wanted to go to basically walk the walk for his kids about going to college. So wanted to go back and get a degree, and took essentially 28 courses with us, which is way more than the norm. Students can take as few as one or as many as they want to, and they are self-paced, so $99 a month. And then he transferred all those credits to a college in New Jersey. and then succeeded in getting his degree. And so he saved thousands by starting with us rather than going on a typical pathway.
So how much of that degree was straighter line? Half? I mean, the schools that are taking the credits, I'm sure will only take a certain number, a certain percentage.
It varies. So those are up to the school's decisions, and schools have sometimes their own institutional policies. If they choose to limit the number of credits they take from us, that's fine too. This particular student got 3/4 of his degree from third-party sources, most of which was us, but not all.
Yeah. Very cool. So, and when you're talking about the kinds of courses you are, the introductory level courses, that material is not changing. So from an investment standpoint, you can produce it and you probably don't have to revision it that often.
That's exactly right. So these courses are more or less the same across schools. They're heavily transferred, so whether that's from a dual enrollment program at a high school to a college or among colleges. Gen Ed courses represent 1/3 of all enrollments in higher ed. So there are about 40 courses that represent 1/3 of all enrollments. So you don't need a really big catalog or to take a lot of courses to have a really big impact on your degree. And in the Maryland area, University of Maryland University College is one of our partners.
A huge provider.
Yep,
right?
They're a wonderful college. Cecil College in Northern Maryland is another one, and then Capital Technical University outside of DC is another one.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about online education and where that's heading, you can give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet your questions. The Twitter address is @MPT News. So do you have a faculty?
The way we built our courses, it's now called competency-based education. But we were doing competency-based education before it was a thing, before it was called capital C, competency-based education. So our courses are self-paced, they're tutor-supported. We have faculty who build the courses and are available for quality control, whatever issues come up.
So if I'm a student, I'm really stuck on whatever this is. There's tutoring available.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have tutors that are available up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, live. We have student support personnel in our offices here in Baltimore, where students can ask non-academic questions. Those are things like tech support, proctoring, dog ate my homework, whatever the issue is. We have success coaches who intervene periodically, sometimes on an automated basis, sometimes personally based on student actions or inactions in their courses. So the courses are heavily supported. There's as much support as a student needs. I think as important, both for us and I think in the future, what we enable students to do is, in addition to the low prices, really lower the risk of starting college. So 40% of students, actually a little higher, don't complete their degree. College is a high-risk proposition. If you complete your degree, that's terrific, but if you don't, you're now saddled with debt and no degree, which is the worst possible outcome. There are ways you can start much more affordably than starting all at once. So for us, we have a free trial. If that doesn't work out, stop, no harm. If you start in the first month and you bit off more than you can chew, after this first month, you can stop and you're out about $148, as opposed to several thousand. So there's lots of points where students can stop along the way.
Let's grab a phone call. Baltimore County, this is Rob. Rob, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm just wondering, as a teacher myself, I've heard that there's a tremendous amount of problem with test validity, whether students will have other people sit in for them and take tests, or they will cheat. They have their notes there. Very often, the standards for taking tests and any other kind of assessments seem to go out the window, and when people ask about it, they're told, well, we're worried about people completing the course and we want them to do well. How do you handle that? Rob,
thank you. Fabulous question. You mentioned proctoring before. How do you do it?
Yeah, Rob, that's a terrific question. So I'll answer about straighter line and then also about the higher education industry in general. Actually, I'll reverse it. In general, there are no standards in higher education around credit transfer. There is no standard of what, say, Psych 101 should be. On top of that, there is no standard about what the assessments for Psych 101 should be, or what the requirements are for credit transfer, the legitimacy of the assessment, the processes to deter cheating or identity verification. So right now, the way most credit transfer works in higher ed, it's really assuming that credits transfer among accredited institutions which have none of those processes in place. What we do at Straighterline is actually go above and beyond that, because in some ways we are held to a higher standard because we are not a college. We have had our assessments built for us, psychometrically valid and reliable, a company or it's a nonprofit group that builds assessments called the Council for Aid to Education. We do require proctoring, online proctoring for all of our final exams. And that's more than what many colleges do for their online courses. It's not foolproof. There is nothing really in higher ed that is right now, but this is a level of standard that's greater than what most colleges typically do. It is a problem.
Let's go out to Cecil County. This is Shadea. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Good evening. How are you both this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My question is, does Straighterline find that community college will accept credits more because they're already getting funding from from government agencies? So it just makes more sense for them to accept those credits. So I'm going to let you
Great.
the call.
Shadea, thank you very much for the phone call.
Yes and no. So on the yes side, first, another great question. Informed listeners or watchers that you have.
Public television.
Yeah, the community colleges are accustomed to accepting credits from lots of sources. So whether that's CLEP, AP, prior learning assessment, workforce training. So they have a history of accepting credits from lots of places. On the other hand, the colleges that are most likely to start working with us, and it is evolving, but are those colleges that are either very competitive with each other, like adult serving online colleges, or are tuition dependent because they are very interested in attracting new students because they're driven by their tuition. Public institutions are, for the most part, less tuition dependent than privates and then also profit centers and other colleges who are seeking students. So we found that the public institutions are slower to adopt low-cost pathways into themselves than privates and others.
You know, the irony is you have some public institutions where kid goes off to college, paying tuition, room and board, and sits there and attends an online course offered by that university. You could be at home in the basement doing that.
Correct. Yep. There was, and this is a statistic from a few years ago, I'm not quite sure how valid it is now, but there was something like 60% of online courses are taken within 30 miles of the institution that's offering it.
Right, well, traffic's bad. Yeah.
I think that is changing, though, but...
Washington, D.C., this is Charles. Charles, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hello, how are both of you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great, blessed.
Glad you called.
I'm a big John Oliver fan, and one of the things that he was talking about is standardized testing and whether it's a valid way to proclaim whether a person is actually credible and intelligent. So I just wanted both of y'all opinions on how is it a credible way to judge a person's intelligence, or is it just a form of just roboticness? That's my question.
Charles, thank you for the phone call. A little off topic because you're not checking SAT scores when somebody applies, I guess.
Correct.
But still.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. On the one hand, I think we all know that life and education is way richer than what a standardized test can capture. On the other hand, that's how our system's kind of structured right now. So if you have to, if you're going to get a degree, if you're going to try and save money, if you're going to prepare yourself for whatever that next level is, you kind of have to play within the rules until the rules change. So it's a difference between a policy question of do we use standardized tests or your individual question of how do I sort of progress day to day.
Let's talk to Charlotte in Rehoboth. Charlotte, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
I'm just interested if Carroll County is one of the colleges that you include in your whatever. I can't think of the words right now.
It's a great question what the word is. Charlotte, thank you very much. You mentioned Cecil, I think.
Cecil College is. University of Maryland University College is. Carroll County is not, though I highly recommend folks who want colleges to award credit for courses to talk to their colleges. As I said, we have about 800 colleges that aren't official partners, so we can't guarantee credit transfer. However, they may take our credits if the student asks for it. Our courses are what's called ACE credit recommended, which to be clear is not accreditation. But what it is a third-party reviewer that's well respected among colleges that says, yes, these courses are college credit equivalent.
So you've obviously spent a lot of time thinking about this. You've built this company from nothing. How many employees now?
About 50.
All right, where do you think it's heading? What's the whole higher education universe look like a decade out?
So a decade out, we are going to have a very different looking higher education system. It will be a lot more choices for students on types of programs, on price points of programs, on the way they are structured. I believe financial aid will be used in more ways than it is currently. In fact, I think that may happen sooner rather than later. I have 3 kids. My oldest is now early high school and starting to think about college. And I look at them and see that they're going to go down different paths. One of them might be very traditional 18-year-old college student who goes for 4 years. Another one will probably, bounce around for a little bit and take a few courses here and a few courses there until he finds himself. And who knows what the third one will do. But but they're going to follow different paths, and now there will be multiple ways to support them at different points in their lives. So I think what we're seeing is a transformation from something we thought of college as a certain way of going to be educated with a certain view of what it looked like, to one where, it's really post-secondary education broadly, and we don't quite know how long that will last or what form it will take, but there are lots of different ways to get there. And we're seeing the policy frameworks, the subsidy structures, and our institutions having to change to accommodate that.
Burke Smith is CEO of Straighterline, straighterline.com, if anybody wants more information. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Do appreciate it. Just ahead tonight, new reasons for home shopping in Baltimore. We'll be right back.
We'd reach out to each of you personally, if that were possible, to encourage you to tune in for the single most important TV documentary ever produced by MPT. For 3 nights beginning Tuesday, May 24th, we'll air Maryland-Vietnam War Stories, a labor of love for everyone here at MPT. It's come together thanks to 250 men and women who shared their Vietnam stories with us, who told us of their service and their lives before, during, and after the war. They've given us history, perspective, insights, and many reasons to thank and salute all those who served. In all, we taped 120 hours of interviews and crafted them into a moving and memorable 3-hour film. Please tune in on May 24th, 25th, and 26th for Maryland-Vietnam War Stories. We thought you ought to know.
Tonight on MPT.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, this is Barbara. This is Barbara's painting by a South African artist.
What really fascinated me about him was his political side. Oh, really? He was a very early member of the South African Communist Party.
You're kidding. What else was surprising about the painting? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Omaha, Nebraska.
Tonight at 8 on MPT.
Next time on the Dr. Blake Mysteries.
We're looking at a severe allergic reaction.
A priest is found dead in a confessional booth.
I might need to perform an autopsy.
The church doesn't want one, Blake.
The victim was killed by bee stings.
Why didn't he simply flee the confessional booth?
And Blake uncovers sinful motives.
Money? Infidelity.
Discover the truth.
Things don't quite add up at Sacred Heart.
On the Dr. Blake Mysteries.
Tonight at 10 on MPT.
Joining us now, Steve Gondel, who is Executive Director of Live Baltimore. Steve, good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
You have a home buying fair coming up in, May 14th. That's right. Who's it for?
For anybody interested in learning about living in Baltimore City, whether they're right at the start of their search or ready to find that home and put a contract on it.
This is not the first year you've done this. Was last year the first?
No, this is probably the 17th, 18th year. So yeah.
Now, last year the timing wasn't especially good, but still made some progress.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks after the unrest, and we still had over 200 plus people attend the event. Of the 30 individuals that got the $5,000 incentive, we found that they ended up all throughout the city, 25 different neighborhoods. 2/3 of them were from Baltimore City, 1/3 of them were from elsewhere.
Who gets the $5,000 and where does that come from?
It's City of Baltimore. We work with them on the events. Their money, our event, and it is eligible for anybody who has attended homebuyer education through a HUD-approved agency that has attended the event and is ready to purchase a home within 2 weeks after the event.
Yeah, Baltimore is a really interesting place. I've been here my whole life, and what people see on TV is obviously they saw the unrest, they saw the streets where the most difficulty is, and the hardest hit areas, but they also see the Inner Harbor, they see the new construction, the high-end stuff, but there's so much else.
And that's what we're going to show them.
Right.
So much else. That's because that's a big part of it. Is that you see what you know on TV. Even what people that grew up in the area think they know Baltimore, whether they grew up or they've been gone. The event is designed to show people probably what they've desired. They just don't know exist in the city, and so that's our aim for that event.
Yeah, we mentioned traffic earlier. One of the advantages if you work in the city and you live in the city, you've got a pretty good head start.
Absolutely. Everything's probably within 10, 15, 20 minutes.
So what would you say are the hottest neighborhoods right now?
Well, right now, we're looking at Westfield up in the Northeast, which many people probably don't know about, but Westfield last month had both one of the top performing in home sales as well as increase in value. Bel Air Edison, a big neighborhood on the east side as well, really busy past few months. For the event, we're going to show people 3 different areas. So we're going to take them over to Highlandtown, take them over to Union Square on the west side, and we're actually going to take them up to, I think, what is really the hidden gem is Lake Walker, right in the Belvedere Square area, right before the county line.
Let's take a phone call. Fran in Baltimore City, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Yes, I was calling to ask you about, I was about to do a short sale or go through the process of the paperwork and all. I thought that going through the process, it was pretty tedious. So I want to know which is the best route to take, short sale or go through the whole process.
You mean in terms of buying a house?
In terms of buying a house.
Great. Fran, good luck. Thank you very much for the call. You're not a real estate guru.
No, but I think the real estate joke about short sales are there's nothing short about them. It is important to note that for the event, the city does not accept short sales or foreclosures. So only because sometimes they can get caught up in paperwork and approval process. So these are for traditional homes on the market that are not short sale foreclosure. So.
And again, putting you on the spot as a non-real estate expert, how do you judge the health of the real estate market in the city as a whole?
We judge it every month. So we look at the sales data that comes out monthly per jurisdiction, and then we go a step further and look at it within the city of Baltimore. So last month we saw that we were 70% of our neighborhoods were at or above their pace of sales from the previous year. We're 7% higher in sales a year ago, and we're up 23% from the previous month. So we're really encouraged by what we're seeing in the market. That we're seeing it throughout Baltimore City, and that we have had steady increases month after month.
So obviously, the first question anybody gets if they tell their neighbors they're moving into Baltimore City, it's crime and it's schools. How do you answer that?
Find out the resources available to answer those questions. And so there are resources that we have at the website, livebaltimore.com, that can talk about schools, that can talk about safety, and then can talk about taxes, because sometimes people just know that, and then knowing how to address them is what they don't know, and that's where Live Baltimore comes in as a resource to answer that.
Yeah, Baltimore has this long history of revitalizing neighborhoods. The dollar houses back in the Schaefer era. Does that still exist?
There's different programs. The dollar homes aren't really available anymore, but Vacants to Value does exist, where you can purchase a vacant home from the city of Baltimore, rehab it, and for a fraction of the price of normal home sales. There is a considerable amount of rehab that has to go into it, but we like to focus more on the incentives that are out there, which is kind of transitioning from the dollar homes into now incentives being offered by employers, by the city, by the state of Maryland. When we combine all that together, buyers going to purchase homes, for $10,000, $15,000 with incentive money.
All right, give me the details again. This is Saturday, May 14th.
Yes, at Poly High School from 8 a.m. till about 4 p.m. And registration's on our website. You can register on site, and you can take workshops There's a fair where you can meet real estate professionals as well as visit 3 different and unique neighborhoods.
Now, there is a fee. I mean, this isn't a free event.
It's $10.
Okay, and where does that go?
That goes to the organization to offset the cost to put it on the event.
Very good. Steve Gondel is Executive Director of Live Baltimore. Steve, thanks for coming by. Good luck.
Thanks for having me back.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us for Direct Connection Thursday at this time on Your Money and Business, how millennials are actually managing their money quite well. We will learn about that Thursday at 7:30. Now, for all of us here at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching Direct Connection, and have a good night.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.